The term bad implies woe and no. It is used to forbid the kite as spelled out in the term, "For me, a kite is bad." It is interesting that the kite in the matrix is spelled in two different ways, as some believe this is the case in the Bible. Regardless of the issue of the two versions of spelling a kite, the matrix agrees with the Bible that both versions refer to a non-kosher bird. The term woe is used again as a kite woe. In a pictorial way, the matrix explains that we must keep the land crocodile away from our mouth. Here the matrix points out that the gal is second grade food. Note that we are allowed to eat non-kosher food if we are on an island and this is the only food available to keep us alive. The matrix is going through some of the more familiar birds and finds different ways of saying no, whoa, keep out of your mouth, it is degraded, or as in the case and now, we shall suppress a pelican. The horse and mare are not found in the standard matrix at a skip of 617. It is, however, within the extended matrix, giving powerful messages, each of its own merit is against tremendous odds of being there. Terms 6, 7, and 8 letters at a skip of 2 will give such odds. The interwoven terms and the surface text make it clear. Eating a horse or a mare meat is an abomination to the master of the universe. Specifically, the matrix is telling us the mare is bad, woe in the horse, and bad is the horse. All the above is written on another pair of abomination to the master of the universe, a graven and molten image. Our fathers followed the biblical commandments strictly because they believed in keeping them. Today, we are beginning to scratch the tip of the iceberg in our understanding more about the Master of the Universe's commandments. We know that each commandment has many levels of rewards on the physical, emotional, spiritual levels. We also appreciate that there is much that which we do not know. We learned it in recent history that blood carries the disease. That by itself should be a reason to avoid blood, although not necessarily the main or only reason. On the other hand, today we can appreciate a little bit better the concept of the biblical definition of blood when it is stated that it is unclean or not clean. The matrix defines blood as unclean. In accordance to the Bible teachings, the matrix in a coded version continues to advise that the blood is unclean and renders unclean. For example, those that touch it. Note the circled common letters in the three last terms that joins them to give the above single message. The matrix explained why we should not consume blood, and now it explains how to avoid it. There are explicit regulations that we follow to avoid blood, and salting is a simple procedure. The matrix reminds us that just choosing a kosher animal will not make it kosher for eating if it is not salted properly. It begins with the rhetorical question, who shall I salt? It continues with the answer, his animals. To confirm the matrix repeat, the animal I shall salt. The question and the two similar answers share letters as shown to make them one message. We now have two sets of terms, each form a related message to the other. Each set is not only sharing letters, but have three letters, one of each term touching two of the other respective terms in their set. The first set tells us, it is desired that you will hate the blood. It is unclean and renders unclean. The second set tells us, who shall I salt? His animals. The animals I shall salt. The two sets of terms look very similar in shape and layout. They look like the letter Y on its side, where in each set we have two terms almost overlapping. The two Y's almost connect where the last letter Het of one set is next to two terms ending with an Aleph each. The two sets complement one another as noted. What is striking is the horizontal two-word term that connects both sets. Do not forget, you must be familiar with all the laws and rules. Only then you can eat really kosher, brother. The matrix is going a full circle in first repeating that we have to discuss and explain kosher food. Then it concludes, do not forget. Also, it starts by telling us, a meal, eat like this, brother. And now, it alludes to eat like this, brother, with the last letters of each of the two sets that connects them and the idea of eat like this, brother. Those two letters spell brother. Do not forget, brother.